Have you been wondering if the Sioux Falls housing market is slowing down or if home prices are still climbing? Because right now, something interesting is happening. Home sales have slowed down, but prices are still rising. Inventory is shrinking, but buyer activity just spiked dramatically from January to February. So, what does that mean if you're thinking about buying or selling in Sioux Falls right now? Today, I'm going to break down the February 2026 Sioux Falls housing market numbers, including what's changed just in the last 30 days so you can understand where the market might be headed next. Before we jump in, if you enjoy learning about Sioux Falls real estate, housing trends, and what it's like living here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future updates. First, let's zoom out for a second and look at the national housing market. Across the United States, existing home sales dropped about 8.4%, even though affordability has improved slightly. But here's the key point. Even though fewer homes are selling, home prices continue to rise nationally because housing inventory is still below pre-pandemic levels. The national median home price is now around $396,800, which is actually a record high for this time of year. And that same supply problem is showing up right here in Sioux Falls. Looking at the Sioux Falls metro area, we're seeing a few interesting trends. First, new listings increased about 6.6% compared to last year, meaning that more homeowners are beginning to put their homes on the market. However, closed sales dropped about 16.5% year over year, showing that buyers are still adjusting to higher borrowing costs. But despite that slowdown in sales, home prices are still rising. The median home price in the Sioux Falls metro area is now around $337,500, which is about 2.6% increase from last year. Now, here's something that caught my attention this month. Buyer activity jumped significantly between January and February. Pending sales, which represent homes going under contract, increased to 576 in February compared to much lower activity earlier in the winter months. Winter is typically slower for real estate, so this type of jump usually signals that the spring housing market is beginning to wake up. So, while closed sales are still reflecting a slower winter activity, the increase in pending sales tells us that more deals are already in the pipeline for the coming months. This is one of the early indicators agents closely watch when trying to predict where the market is headed. Quick question for you. Are you currently thinking about buying a home, thinking about selling a home, or just watching the market for now? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you know someone thinking about moving to Sioux Falls, feel free to share this video with them so they can stay informed about what's happening in the local market. One of the biggest drivers in the Sioux Falls housing market right now is inventory. The number of homes available for sale dropped about 27% compared to last year, leaving only about 3.1 months of housing supply available. To put that into perspective, a balanced housing market usually has between 5 and 6 months of inventory. So even though the market has cooled slightly compared to the crazy pandemic years, it still leans towards a seller-leaning market. Another shift we're seeing is how long homes are staying on the market. Homes in the Sioux Falls area are currently averaging around 108 days on the market, which is slightly longer than last year. That doesn't mean that they're not selling. It simply means that buyers are taking a bit more time to evaluate the options and make confident decisions. Homes that are priced correctly and marketed well online, they still move quickly. Looking deeper into the data, the price range selling the fastest is the $200,000 to $250,000 range, which they average about 81 days on the market. Luxury homes priced above $2 million tend to take longer to sell. Those average around 233 days. Another interesting trend is that pending sales across the Sioux Falls region increased about 13% over the past year, showing that demand is still very much alive. So, what does that mean for you? If you're a buyer, you may slightly have more time to make decisions compared to the intense bidding wars a few years ago. But inventory is still limited, so when the right home comes on the market, you still need to move quickly. If you're a seller, the market is working in your favor. Prices remain strong, inventory is low, and buyers are actively searching. The biggest factor right now is pricing strategically and presenting your home well online, because buyers are doing a lot of research before they even schedule a showing. If you found this update helpful, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button so more people can see this information. Share this video with someone thinking about moving to Sioux Falls. And if you want to stay updated in the Sioux Falls housing market, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I post regular videos about Sioux Falls real estate, moving to Sioux Falls, local housing trends, tips for buyers and sellers. And if you're thinking about buying or selling in the Sioux Falls area, feel free to reach out anytime. I'd be happy to help you build a strategy that fits your goals. Tune in next month for March's market update.